Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here this morning. It is the squad announcement press conference for the Reggae Girls as they get set to start the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup qualifiers. This weekend, they'll open their campaign against Dominica at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in St. Lucia. This will be followed by three more qualifiers in this stage of qualifying in March against Nicaragua away in Managua and home games against Antigua and Barbuda and Guyana on April 10 and 18, respectively. The Reggae Girls, of course, will need to finish at the top of the group to advance to the CONCACAF W Championship, which will be hosted in November 2026, the venue to be confirmed by CONCACAF at a later date. So we're joined by the head coach of the Jamaica Senior Women's National Team, Coach Hubert Busby, who will go into some opening remarks, and that will be followed by which the squad will be placed on the screen for everyone to be able to see. After that, we'll have questions from members of the media. Coach, good morning to you.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, distinguished guests. Appreciate everyone taking time out of their busy schedules this morning to join us on this press conference. We know that there is still a lot of work to be done in our country, but we look to be heading on that right path and want to ensure that this team is doing as best as it can to unify and bring the country together through some challenging times. So I hope this call finds you and your family well, and look forward to answering any of your questions after we reveal this list of players. So at this point, Simon, if you want to share the squad list. All right. So for this round of qualifiers, these will be the players. We do have two or three players who are currently in the college game that we'll wait to hear from today whether or not they're available based on them advancing in the tournament. But as of right now, this will be the squad for us. We've got Sydney Schneider and Rebecca Spencer in goal, Konya Plummer, Naya Cardoza, Tiana Harris, Chantel Swaby, Mia Mitchell, Jaylee McPherson, Tiffany Cameron, Atlanta Primus, Sade Adamalukan, Israeli Groves or Izzy Groves, Drew Spence, Denisha Denden Blackwood, Natasha Thomas, Jody Brown, Rashaya Walker, Shania Hales, Kiki Van Zanten, Chanel Buckley, and Khadija Bunny Shaw. All right, so that will be the squad. And as I alluded to earlier, there might be one or two updates as the week progresses, joining us depending on their NCAA schedules. Okay, so if you happen to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thanks very much, Coach. A reminder to members of the media to please use the raise hand feature. Once you do so, you'll be indicated and called upon, and then you can be able to unmute and pose your question to Coach Busby. So we look forward to your questions this morning. Thank you. Okay, we have the first question from Donisha Johnson. Good morning. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for making the time to speak with us today, Coach. I'm Donisha Johnson with One Umbrella Sports, and I just have a few brief questions here for you today. Now, with the first match scheduled for November 29 against Dominica, how would you assess your confidence level heading into the qualifiers?
Yeah, I believe, we are prepared and eager to get going. We had a really good camp about a month ago now in Trinidad through some, very testing times with all that was going on. But the players' focus and the staff and the support around the team was very well. And or we had a very good camp, and I thought they did very well considering. But yeah, overall, we're looking forward to this match that's coming in. And as the players, obviously, we're in St. Lucia now, and we're looking forward to this game on Saturday. And for those who weren't aware, we're playing Dominica in St. Lucia. The match was moved from Dominica. We weren't really kind of told why by CONCACAF. So we're actually playing on a neutral ground, which could have its challenges. But overall, we're looking forward to this match.
Okay, awesome. Now, what were the primary factors you considered in finalizing the squad?
Just based on form, I think one of the things that obviously each and every week, even coming out of the last camp, was just seeing how players were doing within their environments, and the minutes that they were playing and being in form was a really big part. It's always a big part. Obviously, we've lost a few players, some notables in Allison Swaby, Kayla McKenna. Vian had a bereavement. Simon had a bereavement. That's why they're not in this group. But we look at, through the course of the last year, we've done a really good job, I feel, of integrating a lot of young players in. Sometimes, like I said, the results hadn't really gone their way, but the players who we've integrated in from our own youth teams or previously, they've stepped up admirably. And we look at the game against Trinidad. We started, Mia Mitchell and Sade as the two pivots in the middle of the pitch, and I thought they did very, very well for young players. So they've got the experience now. They'll be guided by some of the senior heads in the group, and we're looking forward to the game on Saturday.
Thank you, Donisha. Let's now go over to Wade. Wade, good morning. You can go ahead. Unmute and go ahead. Wade, please unmute.
Yes, hearing me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, coach. We see that Bunny Shaw is back in the squad. Any fears that, her reintegration will not be as smooth as we'd like, that's seeing that she's out for some time now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've been in touch with her and we've been in contact with her. I think what's important to remember, though, that is the way that we play. It's about the profiles of the players that play within that position. I mean, obviously, Bunny is one of one. But, the way that we want to play was always kind of with a little bit of her in mind in terms of our philosophy and what we want to do, what is expected from that position in that number 9 position. So I think it's, those 2 or 3 training sessions will be enough to integrate her back in. And as we know, she's a top pro and quality professional. So we don't foresee any issues with her being integrated, having been out for a while now.
Thank you, Wade. Let's now go to Matthew McAnuff. Good morning, Matthew. Go ahead.
Good morning, coach. Good morning, Simon. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. No, good morning, coach. The last time we spoke, you described the Taylor Hines situation as fluid. Now, given that she had made an appearance in the friendly and she's now received another call up for a couple of friendlies, does this effectively close the door from the JFF's perspective in the sense that she will no longer be considered in the future, regardless of how circumstances change? And also, how would you describe that lack of certainty? Would you say that it's affecting your efforts to establish a settled core at this moment and build long-term team chemistry?
No, not at all. I mean, obviously, nothing's changed since the last time we spoke. But really, my focus and our staff focus now is really on those who are playing and those who are available. And like everything else, we revisit it over time. But right now, our focus is on, the 40 players within our pool and another 20 odd players coming through that we can choose from in terms of, taking care of this match first and then switching our attention to the February, March window. So right now, it's really about making sure that our attention is about the players who sacrificed a lot to be into this group and giving them the support they need heading into Saturday's game. So that's really where our focus is at the moment.
Thank you, Matthew. Let's now go to Karen. Good morning, Karen. You can unmute and go ahead.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Simon. Morning, colleagues. Morning, coach. Coach, I have 2 quick questions. One, have all your players assembled in camp in St. Lucia? That's the one. And perhaps what's the mood like there, as you alluded to earlier, the country going through a difficult time now. Are all the players okay in terms of their family that they may have back home? And 2, I am aware that your contract ends at the end of December, I think. How does that impact on your preparation for this game and particularly the one in March of next year?
Yeah, I'll get the first question out of the way first. I mean, my contract is irrelevant. That's not really something anyone's really focused on. We're pushing to move forward. In the time being, we'll have a sit down, have a conversation in terms of how that looks moving forward. So, really, that's not really something that we're worried about at this particular point in time, and we'll address that when it's necessary. I think really it's about the players, like everything else. They are starting to arrive in. Most of them played yesterday within their respective leagues, so they're literally on their way and trickling in as we speak, and we'll start hitting the ground tomorrow. As for the mood, yeah, as you can imagine, everyone who selected, even not within this group, has been impacted some way or another. You know, whether or not they're directly on the island, or they have family directly on their island. Most of them do have relatives and family impacted one way or the other. And so, yeah, we're all going through a difficult time. We'll continue to do so, but we have to be unified and stick together and be really mindful of again, you know, the beauty of what sport does and what it can do for people. And I think they'll be motivated by that into Saturday's game, knowing at this particular time that we can do a lot to cheer up some of those who are going through a difficult period.
Simon, one follow-up, please.
Go ahead, Karen.
Coach, I'm not sure I heard you saying whether all the players are in camp, and also I noticed it's a 21-player squad. Can you talk to us about any challenges you might have had in terms of making it the customary 23-player squad?
Yeah, well, we have some players, as I said before, we had some players on standby, so we'll wait to see what happens in some of their NCAA games. And again, the reason why that was important is, you know, we've had a slew of injuries. At this time of the year, you've seen that both in the men and women games. I mean, the schedules are packed. Most of these players are sometimes these players are playing 2, 3 matches per week, and like everything else, we've had to manage their load with their clubs or their schools. And the players who aren't haven't been selected. It's because of the same criteria. They just have not been playing enough matches within the last 6 weeks. So we wanted to make sure in a short period of time that we had players who were playing for the most part regularly, or they're in professional or college environments where they're still in season. And so that was a big part of it. And yeah, I mean, like I said, a couple of them will be starting to come in because they played last night, but by the end of this evening and some of the afternoon, we'll have most of the squad here, bar one or two with connecting flights, and we'll be able to hit the ground running with our first training session tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. Marlon McFarlane, go ahead, Marlon.
Good morning, Coach and Simon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Coach. We are aware of the Heinz situation, but without going far as naming names, are there any other dual nationals that are in the pipeline or we are currently recruiting that was not, in time for this window, or possibly will be in time for the next window?
Well, coaches always like to keep their cards close to their chest, but at the end of the day, all I would say is, we're constantly evaluating the group and trying to add not just bodies but qualities in particular areas where we can. So to answer your question, yes, there's one or two that we're looking at that are in the process, but obviously at this particular point in time, we won't be naming names. But we're really confident about what we've had. Like I said, I think one of the things over the last year that has been, again, based on injury and just a little bit with, strategically for sure, is how do we integrate some younger players into the group to bring that energy, but also provide that pathway from our youth teams into the senior team is really, really important. So yeah, I mean, there's always players that we're looking at, but I think a lot of the players that we are looking at as well are some names of younger ones that are within our current system are probably not household names, but probably will be so in the next few years. And especially with 2031 on the horizon, we really want to see how some of these players can do and put some camps maybe even outside of this particular FIFA window. So there'll be some new faces, some new names being brought in, but that's just to make sure that we continue to push this program forward so that we can be formidable in the region for years to come.
Thank you very much, Marlon. Let's hear from Ricardo. Good morning, Ricardo. Go ahead.
Good morning to you, Simon, and good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Coach. You mentioned earlier about managing workload of some of the players. Specifically, we know that Khadija Bunny Shaw has had her injury issues. What have the conversations been like from her club in terms of how much she is able to give, and talking specifically about minutes now? Is she at the stage where we can expect her to come in and play a full 90 minutes if required, although I suspect that many will feel it might not be required on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, look, the club wouldn't release her unless they felt that she could fulfill 90 minutes. What happens after that will be up to us and the conversations that we'll have internally. We continue to have a good dialogue and conversations with Man City, which was what we kind of alluded to along the way anyways, is to making sure that we can manage, her loads and making sure that, again, when she's healthy for Man City, then she's healthy for us. And so, not being able to manage that heading into a crucial game like this was something that we've had those discussions and we'll continue to do so. Because it's important that, like if everything else, not just Bunny, but all the players, we've established really good relationships with their clubs, with their schools, so that we share the data that we have coming out of camps with them, and they share that with us coming in. And so our medical staff and high performance staff do a really good job of having those discussions, as I do with the players coming in. And so we'll make sure that we'll do what's best for her, and consequently her and the others heading into the match. So all of them will be available. Something changes in a week, that's something different, but all the players selected should be available to play 90 minutes for sure.
Thanks, Ricardo. Appreciate that. Gregory Bryce, go ahead, Gregory. Morning.
Hi, good morning. Just two questions really quickly. The first one, Coach, how important is it for the girls to get a really strong start in the qualifiers, knowing that there's been a change in the format for the CONCACAF Championship, being that it will be a straight knockout rather than a cup game? So important is it to build that momentum from early?
Yeah, I know it's a great point, and it's what's needed. We want to get off to a great start, have a great week of training leading into the match, and we're approaching each and every match with the respect it deserves. So our preparation this week will be thorough, to ensure that when we go out there, we're firing on all cylinders to the best of our ability. So yeah, well, it's important we get off to a great start. Result is the most important thing, but it's also important that we have a strong performance, and we're laying the foundation for strong performances throughout this campaign, because I think that's really important as well.
And just a follow-up question, if I can.
Go ahead.
Coach, you've been speaking about the importance of these young players for the last year and a half now. One player I've seen you've really been carrying into the squad a lot is Emma McPherson. She's the former under-20 captain, been in the camp, I think, 3 times now in a row, as well as the return of Chanel Buckley, who's recently moved to FSU. Can you speak about those those who specifically on the defense side of the field, one defense, one attacking, and how much they have been learning in the national program?
Yeah, no, I think we'll start with McPherson first. I mean, I've known her from as a younger player coming out of Canada, but she's progressed through our system really well. And the times when I've stopped by the U20 training session, she radiates positivity and energy. And she's a sponge to learning. She wants to learn, and she's versatile. So you can ask her to play anywhere, even goal, and she'll take that on. And I think that's what you want. And you have to accept your role, and for her to come into the senior group and just be a sponge and listen to the older players and take everything on with an absolutely excellent attitude. And that has resonated with everybody in the group. I mean, we call her Smiler. She's always smiling. She always got a great personality, but she's versatile. She's versatile as well. She can play in the background, in the back line. She can play as a number 6, was what we're making possibly to integrate her in, because she's good technically. She reads the ball well. She communicates well. She just has to get up to speed in terms of the match speed of this level. Buckley is another great player. She's just come off the back-to-back. Literally 2 nights ago, she won junior college transfer championship again, where she was a leading scorer at Daytona College. Spoke to her the other night, excited for her. She's leaving a great legacy at that junior college, and now she's off to Florida State, where I'm sure she'll do the same. But she provides a really good ability to play between the lines, where she can pick up the ball and be direct, run at players, take players on, and create overloads, or allow us to create overloads, because she's always running at players and allow for us to go and support and attack. So she does things on the ball that is very dynamic, and she brings a very dynamic approach to the way that we want to play, and her ability to play numerous positions as well has been incredible to see her growth. And I think as she only gets older and a little bit stronger now as well, you're going to see even more of those technical qualities come out. But yeah, those are 2 players, like you said, probably at the other end of the pitches, but the 2 bright young players that have shown very well within the senior camp over the last year.
Thank you, Bryce. Much appreciated. Thank you very much to the members of the media for your presence this morning. It's greatly appreciated. This recording will also be shared quite shortly with persons in the media group. Again, a reminder, the first World Cup qualifier, it's Saturday, November 29, 2 p.m. Jamaica time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time. CONCACAF will announce in due course if they will be able to stream it on their official YouTube channel. So that information will be communicated in due course. So thank you very much for everybody for their presence this morning, and have a pleasant rest of your day. Thank you.